All right, tonight we have our eye on your money because we know how closely you're watching every dollar these days.
After the Federal Reserve announced a 0.25% cut to interest rates, realtors are saying now is the time to buy in South Florida, calling it a buyer's market.
You know, and it is a buyer's market at the moment. We still are very heavy in inventory. The interest rate is still kind of sitting a little high, so the sellers are having a hard time selling. And so it's absolutely the most perfect time. If you're a buyer, this is the time you can negotiate in ways that you've not been able to negotiate, I would say, in the last 10 years. So you can get a really good deal. A lot of buyers are kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting, but they don't realize that they're actually going to pay more, you know, if they wait for the interest rates to drop a little bit. When you do the math, it's not mathing.
Yeah.
You know, and so you really want to consider, if you're wanting to buy, now's the time to buy.
South Florida's housing market is no longer just cooling. It's in crisis. Over 275,000 residents are expected to leave the state in 2025, driven out by skyrocketing insurance premiums, soaring mortgage payments, and steep declines in home values. Entire communities are now caught in a downward spiral as desperate sellers slash prices by $40,000 to $75,000 just to find buyers. Population exodus hits hard. Miami alone could lose over 67,000 residents, while Broward and Palm Beach counties together may see more than 33,000 people leave. Pandemic-era price surges of 60 to 80% have reversed, with median home prices statewide now at $412,734, a 4% drop year over year, the steepest since 2011. Mortgage payments have doubled since 2021, turning $350,000 loans from $1,475 per month to over $2,300. For first-time buyers and retirees on fixed incomes, the math no longer works. Insurance costs fuel the fire. Florida's insurance crisis compounds the problem. 6 major insurers went insolvent in 2022, leaving homeowners reliant on the state-backed Citizens Property Insurance Corporation. Premiums now average $3,023 statewide, with coastal homes paying $8,000 to $12,000 per year. And in Miami-Dade, some policies exceed $15,000. For many, insurance now rivals the mortgage itself. Rising inventory and investor pullback. Homes are piling up. Active listings are up 34% year over year, with more than 177,000 homes on the market. In Cape Coral alone, over 12,000 homes are unsold, forcing sellers to cut prices or offer incentives. FEMA maps and condo reforms drive costs higher. Policy changes are worsening the situation. FEMA's updated flood maps reclassified tens of thousands of properties in Broward County, forcing homeowners to purchase costly flood insurance. Condo owners face mandatory reserve studies and special assessments, pushing total carrying costs above $1,300 per month in many units. In West Palm Beach, St. Petersburg, and Fort Lauderdale, these new expenses are driving sales down and inventories up. Ground Zero cities: Dania Beach, Hollywood, Pembroke Pines, Miramar, Tamarack, Cape Coral, Naples, Punta Gorda, Palm Bay, Northport, Lakeland, Fort Lauderdale, Port St. Lucie, Pompo Beach, and West Palm Beach are among the hardest hit areas. Homes that sold for $675,000 at the pandemic peak now struggle to fetch $500,000, and foreclosure rates in cities like Lakeland have doubled the national average. Sunbelt ripple effect. Florida's turmoil is now mirrored in other Sunbelt states. Texas and Arizona markets are showing early signs of cooling, with rising inventory, declining prices, and slower sales. The housing correction that began in Florida may soon reshape the broader region. What buyers and investors need to know. With inventory at record highs and sellers cutting prices, buyers hold more leverage than in the past 5 years. But lower sticker prices are only part of the equation. Rising insurance, taxes, Flood coverage and HOA fees can add $800 to $1,500 per month on top of the mortgage. Due diligence is critical. Verify all costs, review condo budgets, assess flood risk, and calculate cash flow for investment properties. The bottom line: South Florida's housing market has shifted from a pandemic boom to a sharp contraction. Rising costs, falling demand, and policy changes are reshaping affordability, sales, and investment returns. The market may offer opportunities, but only for those who carefully crunch the numbers and understand the full cost of ownership.